Broadway, Broadway Beat, Broadway, Broadway Beat, Broadway Beat, Broadway Beat, Broadway, listen to the Broadway Beat, Broadway makes you wanna move your feet. Everybody's tapping into everything that's happening on Broadway Beat, Broadway Beat, Broadway Beat, Broadway Beat.
Hello, I'm Richard Ridge, and welcome to Broadway Beat, our look at the very best of what the New York theater scene has to offer. This week we bring you highlights from Broadway Backwards 4, the one-night-only sold-out concert that benefits the LGBT Community Center. It starred some of Broadway's finest. We'll also drop by B.B. King's for the Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS fundraiser, Broadway Bears 12, as in Teddy Bears. This yearly event is where avid theater lovers bid on adorable, one-of-a-kind bears dressed as their favorite Broadway stars. The host was once again Brian Batt, the auctioneer, Lorna Kelly. We'll also bring you a look at City Center Encore's latest production, which was the delightful Jerome Kern, Oscar Hammerstein II musical called Music in the Air, starring Douglas Sills and Tony Award winner Kristen Chenoweth. But let's start things off at Madame Tussauds, where they once again played host for Kids Night on Broadway. This year, the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month is Kids Night, where for every full-price adult ticket sold, a kid goes to the theater for free. This year's ambassador was once again Rosie O'Donnell.
Kids Night on Broadway, and you know that. Last year at this time, we all sat backstage and said, you think we could make this once a month? And they're like, nah, impossible. And here we are, a year later, and we're having Kids Night on Broadway once a month. So let's give it up for all the people who did that. That's fantastic. You know, I'm a theater lover. If you grow up on Long Island, it makes your exposure to Broadway so easy. All you have to do is steal money from your father's wallet, like I did, hop on the Long Island Railroad and sitting room. It's okay, I don't need the mic, I have a loud voice. So anyway, it's a wonderful program, and I think if you get a kid to see a Broadway show before they hit puberty, you've got them for life.
With our desire to build audiences for the future, to be able to get into the minds of these kids from 11 to 18 was just so valuable, and their ideas are so fresh, and it's great when you're getting ideas that you haven't thought of before, and they came up with some terrific ideas.
And just the idea, who came up with the idea for the Kids Advisory Board? Because it's a fabulous idea.
Well, it actually was my idea, and I'm very excited about it because, you know, theater is a world that can become very insular. So you always want to be fresh-minded and open-minded to be able to accept the ideas of things that would bring people to Broadway and interest people. And that's exactly what we heard today, whether it was creating a Facebook page for Kids on Broadway or doing a Tony, a kids Tony, which we loved.
Well, the advisory board exists basically to inform the Broadway League on how they can enhance the kids' initiatives. And so the three main points we talked about at our meeting today were how to build the Broadway community for kids, and how to enhance Kids Night on Broadway, and finally how to, in general, bring kids into Broadway and provide fun and interesting things for them to do. And the reason I wanted to be a part of it is because it just seemed like a great opportunity to sort of early on be a part of something that I love and help build that.
I think it's an investment in the future audience of Broadway. I mean, I think that, this generation, if they take an interest now in Broadway, they're only going to continue to come see more and more Broadway and hopefully keep that into their adulthood. So for me, it's great to watch kids experience what Broadway is. I think the word Broadway, they're not quite sure, but then they sit down, they have the show in front of them, and you see them light up. And so, I don't know, for me, it's special, especially because I love to work with kids. So it's nice to encourage that appreciation of theater, and I love it. This is one of my favorite things all year. So,
What are some of the things the kids do at the table today?
well, today they're making their own freak flags like this. Where basically, as you know, in Freak Flag, my character Pinocchio, he lets his freak flag fly. So each of the kids gets to draw things about them that make them freaky or special, and celebrate it. So that's what we have, and they can make their own freak flag. And actually, you'll be able to do it online soon too. So if you can't be here today, you can make up your own freak flag and put it on Facebook and everything. So, yeah, it's a nice way to kind of celebrate your individuality.
The acclaimed City Center Encore series continued with the delightful Jerome Kern, Oscar Hammerstein II musical, Music in the Air, starring Douglas Sills, The Little Mermaid's Sierra Boggess, Marnie Nixon, and Tony Award winner Kristen Chenoweth.
The rest will blaze, baby, and rolling you. And though the fearful streets are calling you, forget them all, and hurry on. There's time enough to bake and sing. Tomorrow is another day. The more we walk, the more it seems the sun is brighter far away beyond.
I play Sieglinde Lessing. She's the daughter of Walter Lessing, a doctor, Walter Lessing. He is a composer. That's the part that Tom Robbins plays. And, she's a simple country girl, and she's in love with her leading man, which is Ryan Silverman. And they go to the big city. They go to Munich, and her father wants to have a song published. And she sings the song for all of the people who will make this happen. And one of them, who Douglas Sills plays, Bruno, kind of takes a fancy to her and thinks, well, I can make you a star. And so it's kind of, ye old story of I can make you a star. So it's a really sweet piece, and the character that I really love it. I sing one of the songs that is fairly well known is I've Told Every Little Star, and that's the song that I sing, as well as many other people in the show, because that comes up a few times. So, and then the second act number that I do is called When the Spring is in the Air.
Terrific.
German librettist, theater director, 1930s kind of a divo, if you will. Kind of a cross between Bill Clinton and some like Spielberg, I guess. Actually, you know who I think of? I hope he'll take this as a compliment, is John Patrick Shanley, because he's a writer first, and John is so elegant and dashing. He's very debonair. So sort of like that, but 1930s Germanic.
So, did you know the show at all?
Not in the least. I'd never heard of it. I didn't know that they even collaborated, these two. I certainly am sort of familiar with what came before in the genre, like in the 20s and in the 40s, or late 30s even. So it's really interesting to see sort of what this thing is that happened in the middle, which is so unique in tone. It has many qualities of a traditional operetta like The Student Prince or Showboat, but at the same time it's very fun and kind of sassy and naughty. It has a certain savvy that comes post-World War II, after America's sort of been through the dirt. So you get both things going on at the same time, and always Encores is so great at researching and doing all that archaeological work musically to find the old orchestrations and all the old notes on the thing. So it's an incredible chance to hear the music, which is sort of what Encores was all about in the first place, to get these old shows into an orchestra so that everybody could hear them without having to see a $20 million revival, which would probably never happen in this case. I just wanted you guys to get a sense of the size difference.
There is a huge...
So you get a little of that Ren and Stimpy feel.
And you know what? It's not helping my neck working with him.
This is what it's like having friends in the show, right?
So happy. Just a month ago, we were both in L.A. Walking down the street, and I was like, Doug, and he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm on break from pushing daisies. He's like, I'm helping my dad run his business, and then here we are doing the show together.
Did you know the show? Talk about the role. I don't think anybody did. I thought it was a review.
I had no idea of the show. I got the call because, God bless her, Maren's father passed away, and Gary and Rob, who I know from Apple Tree, said, oh, do you think you could do it? And I was going to go on vacation. But when I heard it was them, those two guys, and when I heard it was Jerome Kern, and also to play a character like Frida, who's very much the diva, and I'd like to say very different from myself. And just to play something different and challenge myself, I think I might have show business ADD because I knew I wanted to take this part on. I just wish I had more time, but she's very fun, and hopefully the audience will love her for who she is. And there is a really great heart in there, and obviously it's a love story and a comedy, and obviously the music is a gift for any singer to sing. So I didn't know anything about it. I know that in 1932 it was a relative hit. They did it for a year, which then was considered a big hit. And then when they revived it in, I think 51, it wasn't the same. And so here we are presenting it. And that's the beautiful thing about Encores. You can do it. It's special. It's like a little gem, and then it's done. And the people that come get to say, I was there. I saw it. So I'm glad we get to present it and reintroduce it to people.
I alone have heard this lovely strain. I alone have heard this mad refrain. Must it be forever inside of me? Why can't I let it go? Why can't I let you know? Why can't I let you know the song my heart would sing? A beautiful rhapsody of love and youth and spring. The music is sweet, the words are true, the song is yours. I've been dying without you.
There's no one else but you.
There'll never be anyone else but you.
My love.
My only love.
My darling Bruno.
Never leave me again, my dear.
Let me leave you again, dear.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you, oh God! I love you, I love you, I love you.
Up next at Encores is Finian's Rainbow, which will run at City Center from March 26th through the 29th. Now, B.B. King's once again played host for Broadway Bears, as in Teddy Bears. This yearly event, which benefits Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS, marked the 12th annual, which was created by Scott Stevens. It was once again hosted by one of the stars of Mad Men, Brian Batt. Theater lovers bid on adorable bears dressed in costumes created by top Broadway designers and autographed by the original stars that wore them. The auctioneer was once again Lorna Kelly.
So my bear has a story. She had a sister, and she was all dressed in the opening, coming down the aisle outfit, the coat and the hat and a Chelsea dog, and she was all ready to come to be delivered to Broadway Cares with a lot of other packages in the back of a taxi. And the person delivering her left her in the taxi to be driven into the night, never to be heard of or seen again. And So some cab driver's daughter is playing with this wonderful bear. It's probably ripped the hair out of its head already by now, not realizing that it's Rose from Gypsy. But now we have her sister bear, who is now in the Rose's Turn outfit. And please bid high because this bear has been through a lot. Not to mention page 6, and you know what I mean.
I spend a good portion of the year trying to track people down, basically. And it's not easy. We just got back Megan Mullally's bear this morning, FedEx. I don't know whether she thought it was a gift. I remember the one year when John Gielgud kept his, he thought it was a gift. So I was showing the hat for the School for Scandal while he was sitting there enjoying the gift that it wasn't his. It's just a lot of research. It's a wonderful team of people that help me at Broadway Cares. I mean, Scott Tucker is invaluable trying to track down celebrities with me. I don't want to start mentioning names at Broadway Cares because I'll leave out 28 people, 40 people. But it's just a lot of pre-show prep, basically. And it is a show. As we were talking the other day about Carol Ingram, one of the producers at Broadway Cares, said to me, she said, when we do Easter Bonnet, when we do Gypsy, there's like 9 or 10 numbers, there's 13 numbers. She said, you're doing 40 bears, you're doing like 40 separate numbers. And you do. You have the designers, you have the talent, you have the volunteers, you have, there's so many people involved, the staff. It's a lot of people to make this happen.
Let's talk about that. This started, 12 years ago, like you said, the little humble beginnings that Broadway Bears has had, and look where it is today.
Right. I wasn't even a staff member. I had just come back from a national tour myself as an actor, and somebody started giving me this line of bear, William Shakespeare, Lauren Bacall, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and I said, well, they're not really exciting. They're not Broadway names. Bernadette Peters, Angela Lansbury. I was like, and then I said, well, why don't you do it as a benefit, see if it works. I brought it to Broadway Cares. They were like, oh, yeah, that's going to happen. They weren't really excited about it. They didn't get that the collector market is as rabid, in a very positive way, mind you, as the Broadway fans. They're a very devoted group of people. And so I said, let's try it 1 year. And then I literally was getting calls at my home from Julie Andrews. Well, you are going to do a Camelot bear, aren't you? And it was like, oh, my God. And Theone Aldridge and William Ivy Long were on. So it just went from there. And everybody, every year they say they're not going to do it because they're so wiped out, the poor designers, who, I was so moved by the work they did this year. I couldn't even talk to them earlier. I started to well up, and I'm a wuss anyway, but it's astonishing to me what it's grown into, and the designers that do it selflessly, year after year after year.
So that Brian signed it. Brian Darcy James signed it for, and I'm here to represent from Shrek. So I'm going to be presenting this bear. So I'm going to try and make a lot of money on that one, I think. So
I'm sure you will.
I hope so. The Black Knight bear went for like $9,000 or something. It was really cool.
Tell me how amazing this is, because none of us ever know what they're going to go for. And then, it's just talking about the people that buy these bears and how wonderful this auction is.
Well, first of all, the cool thing about the Broadway Bears is they're unique. You will never have. There's another bear like them. So each bear is individual and very unique. So I know people are collecting them now, which is kind of cool. But it also represents Broadway pretty well, so that you see like your favorite characters dressed in a bear, and it's cute and it's adorable. But it also goes to, of course, a great cause, which is Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS, the Actors Fund, and all sorts of other places. So, but the people who buy them, are definite fans of Broadway. And so I chose to be here because I know I have fans, and they like to come see me. So, and if I can raise a little more money for Broadway Cares just by being here, that's fine with me. That's easy.
Just like my jewels in the show.
Tell me how exciting this is for you to be a part of this wonderful event tonight for this money that gets raised for Broadway Cares.
It's just the biggest thrill. To have that costume chosen, it's so iconic and it's so stunning, and for it to be the one that I wore in the show, it's like a dream come true. I feel like she's like Barbie.
You're such a charmer. At 16,000, telephonically at $16,000, and fair warning at 16,000.
She's gonna get it. Leave her alone.
16. Yeah!
Broadway Backwards 4, the sold-out event which benefits the LGBT Community Center, took place at the American Airlines Theater, where some of Broadway's finest did what they do best, sing. This annual event featured male singers who sang songs traditionally sung by women and women singing tunes written for men. It featured everyone from Florence Henderson to Cheyenne Jackson.
Dear kind of Sergeant Frumpy, you gotta understand, it's just our bringing uppy that gets us out of hand. Our mothers all are junkies, our fathers all are drunks. Golly Moses, naturally we're punks.
Gee, Officer Krupke, we're very upset. We never had the love that every child ought to get. We ain't no delinquents, we're misunderstood. Deep down inside us there is good.
There is good.
Wonderful. I always do. I think it's one of the great events of the year. I missed the very first one, but I've seen 2, 3, and 4, and the way it's grown so quickly, it's pretty phenomenal. To think it was at the center 4 years ago tonight, and now it's on Broadway, sold out in these times, at a high price, benefit tickets. It's very nervous to put on an event like this, and the support for it is so moving and wonderful, and funds well needed too, I may add. But it's a great show.
You know what's great about this? The Broadway community was the first community to stand behind AIDS before anybody else would.
That's true. Broadway cares, yes, and that's still true. And it's one of the great things about living in New York. That support is so palpable.
And talk about how important the center is to New York and to the gay society in general.
Well, as they said tonight from the stage, the center, 6,000 people a week walk in those doors. And there are a lot of people who are lost, who are afraid to go walk in there, that have lost their homes. They've been kicked out by their parents. There are people with problems with drugs. There are so many issues that face minority group communities. And this is a place they're made to feel welcome, and they are supported. And the longer it's open, the easier it is for the next generation of younger people to walk through those doors and feel that embrace. It's a very important organization.
You're the top. You're the Coliseum. You're the top. You're the Louvre Museum.
You're a melody from a symphony by Strauss. You're a Bdwy, a Shakespeare sonnet. You're Mickey Mouse.
You're the Nile. You're the Tower of Pisa.
You're the smile on the Mona Lisa.
I'm a worthless check, a total wreck, a flop. But if, baby, I'm the bottom, you're the top.
Well, I have my own reasons for supporting the LGBT Center, and I'm from the Northwest, and in northern Idaho, outside of Spokane, when I was 18 and 19, I didn't have anywhere to go, to support me or to just have peers and just feel supported and normal. And I went to a gay youth group in Spokane, and very similar to the LGBT. A lot of the services that they offer is the same kind of thing. And, so if I can show up and do a little dance and people, anything I can do, I always will.
To say goodbye. My beautiful young man.
first of all, I love that song, and it's epic, and I was a little nervous about learning all the words, but the story is just so beautiful, and I found myself in a particular situation that is almost identical with what the song is about, so it was easy to like snap myself into that place of having to make a decision, either to let your past bind you or go with what your future's now going to be. And when she or he, whoever's singing it, chooses to move forward, it's just this sort of newfound freedom of, you only get this one shot here on Earth this one time. This is all we know. So you better effing do it. So I just love it. I feel great.
I'm selling off this crowd. I'm getting off my knees, on my way and in my prime and at my ease. Go let 'em burn the bunting. Let all the mopping stop. There'll be no more bread to bake or beds to make or floors to mop.
The center, I've been wanting to do something for the center for a long time, and every time they ask, I can't do it because I'm out of town or do it. And this worked out really well. I'm doing 2 Lifetime movies right now, and I'm in between them in Vancouver. I have to go to Vancouver, and so this worked out really well. And I love how it's grown from the first year. You do a benefit, and you do it for the cause, of course, but when you can have a full orchestra and a theater like this, it just ups it, and they've built up to that, and that's the way you do things, And they brought out a lot of big names, man, and not me, I mean big names, and it brings in the mainstream media too, which is what we also need, and they also need for the center, so people know it's there.
Nothing acts like a dame or attracts